It's Friday night. Say yeah for it's another edition of Strictly Sports. Hello, friends. Anthony Flair here with you for Strictly Sports. As always, glad to have you with us alongside good old MF Michael Fletcher. I don't know where Michael Bullock is. I don't know if he's out or what he's doing, but if if he comes in while while we're on, then we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we'll see him when we see him next. So as you know, a week ago we had to abruptly cancel our show a week ago because of commitments and circumstances beyond all of our controls. I mean, MF had work commitments, Bullock had a late night, and I just wasn't feeling up to hosting last week. But I'm here now, and we're ready to go, and we're just gonna simply get into what we were gonna get into last week. So, hold on a moment. I believe I have a message from Michael Bullock. Um, yeah. Yep. Bullock should be on his way in, I think. Hold on. Um, hold on. Let me see what he's saying here. Yep. While we wait for Bullock to message us, and he should be. I'm thinking he's probably going to be on his way in here. So Oh, okay. All right. I've just been informed Michael Bullock will not be joining us this evening. He has a special. He's going to be in the Special Olympics Rhode Island basketball tournament tomorrow, and he has to be up early. So, because of those commitments, Michael Bullock will not be joining us this evening. But we want to wish him the best of luck, him and his team, and we'll take it from there. So no Bullock this evening. So no worries at all, and we will we will proceed. So very simply put, we are going to get into what we were going to get into last week, and of course that was Super Bowl weekend. And first up was the eighth annual NFL Honors, which was held the night before Super Bowl 53 at the Fox Theater in Atlanta, Georgia. It was hosted by the great Steve Harvey, and he was amazing. So let's run down the list of winners in no particular order. AP MVP, the MVP, of course, Patrick Mahomes of the Kansas City Chiefs. The coach of the year was Matt Nagy from the Chicago Bears. Assistant coach of the year was Vic Fangio, also of the Chicago Bears, defensive coordinator. Patrick Mahomes also won the Offensive Player of the Year award. Saquon Barkley picked up two awards, winning Pepsi Next Rookie of the Year and the AP Offensive Rookie of the Year. Defensive Rookie of the Year was Darius Leonard of the Indianapolis Colts. Comeback Player of the Year was Andrew Luck of the Indianapolis Colts. The Don Shula High School Coach of the Year award was Gabe Infante of the St. Joseph's Preparatory School. Chris Long winning the most prestigious award of the night, the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year award. Mahomes also won a third award in the FedEx Air Player of the Year. Saquon Barkley got a third award himself with the FedEx Ground Player of the Year. The Bridgestone Performance Player of the Year, the Miami Miracle. Of course, you know how that went. Moment of the Year, Aaron Rodgers, when he returned from what looked like a very catastrophic injury on opening night against the Chicago Bears. Courtyard Unstoppable Performance of the Year, that was Jared Goff. I believe it was in that Thursday night game against Minnesota. Shaquem Griffin winning the Game Changer Award presented by Secret. Ben Garland of the Atlanta Falcons winning the Salute to Service Award presented by USAA. Aaron Donald winning the Deacon Jones Award. Drew Brees winning the Art Rooney Award. The LA Rams offensive line won the Built for Tough Offensive Line of the Year. And the celebration of the year was the choreography of the Seattle Seahawks. So those are your winners. Of course, we also have the Hall of Fame class, but we're going to get into that separately. So, yeah. Some of these awards went pretty much the way we expected. I mean, we all knew Patrick Mahomes was going to be the MVP. I mean, the writing was on the wall. The 5,000 yards, the 50 TDs. Aaron Donald was the defensive player of the year. Can't say I'm surprised with that either. I mean, he had a very dominant year, 20 and a half sacks for the Rams. Matt Nagy for the Chicago Bears. I felt he was the most deserving of the coach of the year. Vic Fangio is now former defensive coordinator. Of course, he's now going to be the head coach of the Denver Broncos. And what a big first move they've already made, getting Joe Flacco via trade, which leaves the Baltimore Ravens now as Lamar Jackson's team. I mean, that's going to be very interesting to see how that develops. Saquon Barkley, in addition to Patrick Mahomes, Mahomes won 3 awards. Saquon Barkley also won 3 awards. Saquon Barkley, definitely the future of the Giants, without a doubt. Andrew Luck, comeback player of the year. There was only one who could have won that. I mean, what a great year for Andrew Luck. You know, the Colts, they started out so slow. They started 1-5, and they got on a red hot streak, made it to the postseason before losing to Kansas City in the divisional round. The Miami Miracle, what can you say about that? I mean, MF and Eric Carrier and the rest of their Dolphin family. I mean, that was pretty much their Super Bowl right there. I mean, defeating the Patriots. I mean, back on December the 9th, week 14, we'll never forget it. I mean, MF was very emotional about that. Definitely the most emotional moment in Dolphin history, without a doubt. And to do it against the Patriots, I mean, that's amazing. Even though the Patriots did get the last laugh. We'll get into that after. Shaquem Griffin. I mean, I know there's been a video of him that surfaced, you know, a very nice video, a touching video with a young fan that recently surfaced. Aaron Donald, 2 awards for him, Defensive Player of the Year and the Deacon Jones Award, which I believe goes to whoever had the most sacks. Drew Brees winning the Art Rooney Award. That's the Sportsmanship Award, pretty much their equivalent to the Lady Byng in the NHL. I mean, well done for them. The Rams O-line, one of the reasons why the Rams, you know, led the league in scoring this year. And can't say I really care about the celebration of the year, if I'm going to be honest with you. But, you know, I know MF probably does because I know how much he loves that stuff. And Darius Leonard winning the Defensive Rookie of the Year. And why not? I mean, 7 sacks this year, 111 tackles, had 2 interceptions. First team All-Pro, was an AFC Defensive Player of the Week twice, week 2 and 17. Defensive Player of the Month in December, and the Defensive Rookie of the Month in September, and led the league in tackles, and that's one of the reasons why he won that award. He's got a bright future ahead of him. So all I can say is congratulations to all the winners. We'll get into the Hall of Fame class in just a moment, but nonetheless, another great NFL honors show. I look forward to it every year, and it came out really well done. Steve Harvey was funny, like I knew he would be, and preaching about the Cleveland Browns, and rightfully so. They got a bright future ahead of them too, and yeah, so congratulations to all the winners, especially the 2 big winners, Patrick Mahomes and Saquon Barkley, 3 awards each. Donald right behind with 2, and just a great night in the Walter Payton Man of the Year, the main event, and rightfully so. That is the most prestigious award. That's even more prestigious than MVP, if I'm going to be honest with you all. And Chris Long of the Philadelphia Eagles, the winner of that. So well done with him with what he's doing with providing clean drinking water to all those famished third world countries. And, praise the Lord for that. So well done. God bless you, brother. That's all I can say on that. Well deserved. So with all that being said, Girl MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. Congratulations to all the winners. MF, you heard the list. Patrick Mahomes, Saquon Barkley, 3 awards each. Aaron Donald with 2 right behind. Just an all-around great night. The show as a whole is just so fun to watch. There was no exception.
Yeah, no doubt about it. As far as all the big awards go, as it pertains to the honors, yes, MVP Patrick Mahomes, no big surprise. Matt Nagy winning the Coach of the Year. The AP Offensive Player of the Year was Patrick Mahomes. Aaron Donald, Defensive Player of the Year. Saquon Barkley, Rookie of the Year. On both fronts, the AP and the Pepsi next, which is no big surprise. Darius Leonard, yes, Rookie of the Year. Andrew Luck, Comeback Player of the Year as well. I mean, all of these guys were all fitting, well-deserved honor, and congratulations to them. And then, yeah, like you said, Chris Long becoming the latest recipient of the NFL Walter Payton Man of the Year. And to think that this award was originally created in 1970, and Johnny Unitas was the first ever winner of the Man of the Year award. He now goes in the list with like guys like John Hundy, Willie Lanier, Len Dawson, George Blanda, Ken Anderson, Franco Harris. Walter Payton won the award himself in 1977. Roger Staubach, Joe Green, Harold Carmichael, Lynn Swan, Joe Theismann, Ruth Bershebek, Marty Lyons, Dwight Stevenson, Reggie Williams, Dave Dwanett, Steve Largent, Warren Moon in '89, Mike Singletary, Anthony Munoz, John Elway, Derek Thomas, Junior Seau, Boomer Esiason, Darrell Green, Troy Aikman, Dan Marino. In 1999, it was Chris Carter. In 2000, there was actually 2 winners of the NFL Man of the Year, Derek Brooks and Jim Flanagan, Jerome Bettis, Troy Vincent, Will Shields, Warwick Dunn, Peyton Manning. The first ever NFL Man of the Year, if I remember correctly, was Drew Brees in 2006 and LaDainian Tomlinson. They were co-winners. Jason Taylor, Kurt Warner, Brian Waters, Matthew Williams, Matt Berg, Jason Witten, Charles Tillman, Thomas Davis, Anquan Bolden, Larry Fitzgerald, and Eli Manning both won it. Both were co-recipients. J.J. Watt, and then, yes, Anthony, you said it, Chris Long winning it in 2018. Just the historic, legendary names that were announced as the winners of the NFL Man of the Year. And what makes it even more epic is that all 32 teams had to put one nominee each to represent the Man of the Year. So 32 men gets an opportunity at this, but only one man walks out with the trophy. And when it was all said and done, there couldn't have been anybody more fitting or more deserving of the spot than Chris Long. I got really nothing else to say. Congratulations to all the winners. Anthony, let's get on to the Hall of Fame.
2019 NFL Hall of Fame class, the Pro Football Hall of Fame class that will be enshrined Canton, Ohio this August. And they are as follows. And once again, in no particular order. Cornerback, Champ Bailey. Owner, Pat Bowlen. VP, Gil Brandt. Tight end, Tony Gonzalez. Cornerback, Ty Law. Center, Kevin Mawai. Safety, Ed Reed. And safety, Johnny Robinson. So, MF, I got to ask, How do we feel about this Hall of Fame class? Any deserving standouts to stand out to you?
Obviously, Tony Gonzalez absolutely jumps out at the page right out of the gate. I mean, you can even say it. He is the greatest tight end in the history of the game. I mean, what he brought to the table was an absolute dominating performance, a great player representing Kansas City, then was able to revitalize his career in Atlanta. The only blemish in his career, he never won a Super Bowl. And that's a heartbreaking thing because this guy was definitely deserving of that opportunity. Pat Bowlen, definitely the architect of the Denver Broncos. What a life this man lives. He was such a great owner, well respected, well loved in the NFL community. You know, he's been going through some hard times right now. Pat Bowlen right now is actually is currently dealing with Alzheimer's disease, and you know that's a really debilitating thing. But under his leadership, 7 AFC championship, 3 Super Bowl wins. He was also an owner for an Arena Bowl championship. So, I mean, whatever you say about this guy, he is without a doubt one of the most well-respected, well-loved owners in the NFL, and you know, he is definitely well deserved. Ty Law, okay, this one's the most controversial one. I don't know if the numbers really stand out for him to be a Hall of Famer. I know a lot of people are. This was the biggest debate of them all. Did he really deserve to be a Hall of Famer? A lot of people says no. A lot of people say yes. It's kind of 50-50 on it. Me, and I know, and thank God Michael Bullock is not here because he probably would come after me for this. I don't believe Ty Law deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. Just me alone. Just my thoughts only. I don't believe Ty Law is a Hall of Famer. I don't. I think I don't think the numbers are there enough in order for him to be in there. Champ Bailey, another one of those. It's a close calls. I don't know if he's worthy of Hall of Fame status either. What he brought to the table was great, but again, I don't know if he was definitely deserving of it. Kevin Mawae, one of the most dominating centers, definitely during the days of the New York Jets. You know, once you get into the big brooding guys, you know, those big guys in the trenches, you cannot deny what he brought to the table. Ed Reed. Oh, man. I can go on for days about Ed Reed, starting his career in the Miami Hurricanes, and what he brought to the table, the in-your-face, the hard-hitting, the ground and pound, all that stuff was amazing in one way, and he just brought it to the table every game, every day. He was one of the reasons why the Baltimore Ravens had probably the best defense, along with Ray Lewis. Ed Reed was just that shut down safety. You know, you threw in his direction, it was 9 times out of 10 it was going to get picked off because of Ed Reed. Nothing more to say about that. And the last guy, Gil Belanda, I don't know much about him, so I'm sorry. I know he was from the Veterans Committee, and Johnny Robinson is another guy that I don't really follow too much about, but I do know he was a great player back in the day, especially during his career. I mean, he's done it all. He's definitely worthy of the spot that he is in. Super Bowl champion, Pro Bowler, was the NFL leading INT guy in 1970, a 3-time AFL world champion. You know, so I mean, there's really nothing bad to say about it, man. I mean, he's done it all in his career, playing for the Dallas Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs. But again, I don't really know much about him, so it's kind of a little more harder for me to say one way or another, but veteran committee selection is definitely worthy. And from what I know from all of the historians and the people who follows the game a lot more closely than I do, they all were saying the same thing. This guy deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Congratulations to all of the Hall of Famers. Nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, it is all yours, my friend.
All right. And yes, I mean, that's definitely very interesting there. MF, you held nothing back on that. But then again, you never do. You always do. So, all right. Champ Bailey running down. First year of eligibility. He was elected. Played his college ball at the University of Georgia. Played for two teams, the Washington Redskins from 1999 to 2003, and the Denver Broncos from 2004 to 2013. Was with the New Orleans Saints in 2014, but he was only as an off-season and/or practice squad member only. 12-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first-team All-Pro, 4-time second-team All-Pro. Led the league in interceptions in 2006, a member of the 2000s All-Decade team, a member of the Denver Broncos 50th anniversary team, consensus All-American in 98, and also won the Bronco Nagurski Award in 98. He retired with 908 tackles, 3 sacks, 203 passes defensed, 52 interceptions, and 7 forced fumbles. So, Champ Bailey, say what you want, but, in a way, MF is kind of right. I mean, I know MF was a little iffy about him because, he didn't win any Super Bowls or anything like that, but it doesn't matter if you win a Super Bowl or not. I mean, as long as you have the numbers to back it up. I mean, I'm a little iffy on it myself, but, it is what it is. So, congratulations to him. Pat Bowlen, principal owner of the Denver Broncos. From 1984 to 2014, he was their principal owner and CEO. He's their principal owner now. He also owns the Denver Outlaws and is also a minority owner of the Colorado Crush, or was a minority owner of the Colorado Crush, 2003 to 2008. 7 AFC championships, 3 Super Bowls, won an Arena Bowl, Arena Bowl 19, and then a 3-time Steinfeld Cup champion, 2014, 2016, and 2018. So one of the great owners in history. The Colorado Crush, by the way, is an arena football team, and the Denver Outlaws are a Major League Lacrosse team. So there's that. Also in the Broncos Ring of Fame as well. So congratulations to Pat Bowlen, one of the great owners in NFL history. There have been a lot of them, and he certainly was that. Gil Brandt, a former vice president of player personnel in the NFL for the Dallas Cowboys from 1960 through 1988. But before that, he was also an executive for the Los Angeles Rams from 1955 to 1957, and also worked for the San Francisco 49ers, 1958 to 1959. 2 Super Bowls, won 2 Super Bowl championships, Super Bowl 6 and Super Bowl 12, both of the Dallas Cowboys. 5 NFC championships, 13 division championships, 20 consecutive winning seasons from 1966 to 1985, and a member of the Dallas Cowboys Ring of Honor, and was also he was the chief talent scout for the Dallas Cowboys, and that's what it is. And if you're wondering who he is, I mean, he had a reputation of acquiring high draft choices by making impactful trades, which were used to select players like Randy White, Ed Tuttle-Jones, and Tony Dorsett. And that was pretty much it. He's also a member of the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, April 9th of 2015. So, congratulations to Gil Brandt. And Tony Gonzalez, what else is there to say? He's probably going to be the headliner. Like MF said, greatest tight end of all time. No question about it. Kansas City Chiefs from 1997 to 2008, the Atlanta Falcons from 2009 to 2013, 14-time Pro Bowler, 6-time first team All-Pro, 4-time second team All-Pro, 2000s All-Decade team. In college at the University of California, a consensus All-American in 96, and a first team All-Pac-10 in 96. Career numbers, 1,325 receptions, 15,127 yards, and 111 receiving touchdowns. To me, the best player to never win a Super Bowl right here. Here's a guy who should have had at least one. But, it is what it is. It's a shame he didn't get a chance at it. He came close only once. That was 2012, I believe, with the Atlanta Falcons when they went to the NFC Championship game only to lose to Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers. So, without a doubt, when it comes to this particular class, to me, he is the most deserving. And quite frankly, I think when all is said and done, he's going to be the headliner. And of course, nowadays, he is, of course, with he was on the NFL Today until the 2016 season. And then, of course, he, for the last couple of years, has been working with the Fox crew. So, well done. Hell of a career. Damn shame he never won a Super Bowl, but at least he's being recognized for his talents. And I'm going to be very interested to see what he has to say come Hall of Fame induction night. Ty Law, I mean, he won a Super Bowl. So, out of the University of Michigan, he played for, 4 teams technically, because he had 2 stints with one team. New England Patriots, 1995 to 2004. The New York Jets in 2005. 2006 and 2007 with the Kansas City Chiefs. 2008 with another stint with the New York Jets. And then 2009 with the Denver Broncos. Now, MF, I'm sorry, I respectfully disagree with you. I think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. The numbers back it up. 3-time Super Bowl champion, 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time first team All-Pro, led the league in interceptions twice, 1998 and 2005, All-Decade team in the 2000s, inducted into the New England Patriots Hall of Fame. Here are the numbers to back it up. 838 career tackles, 169 pass deflections, 53 interceptions, 7 touchdowns, and 5 sacks. Of course, had one of the most memorable touchdowns in Super Bowl history, Super Bowl 36, when he opened the scoring and ran it back for a score. And that memorable Super Bowl 36, I mean, I'll never forget your call on that, MF. I mean, that was one of your many screaming Michael Fletcher moments, absolutely, when Ty Law took that thing to the house. But all I know is, contrary to what MF has to say, I respectfully disagree with him. I think Ty Law is more than deserving of being in the Hall of Fame without question. So, in my opinion, he deserves to be in there. Kevin Mawae, out of LSU, played for 3 teams. Started with the Seattle Seahawks from 94 to 97. Of course, the most success came with the New York Jets from 1998 to 2005. And then 2006 to 2009 with the Tennessee Titans. Was with the Chicago Bears as an assistant offensive line coach in 2016. And as of right now, he works with Herman Edwards' staff at Arizona State as an offensive analyst. 8-time Pro Bowler, 7-time first team All-Pro, second team All-Pro, PFWA All-Rookie team in 94, All-Decade team in the 2000s, New York Jets Ring of Honor, first team All-SEC in 1991, second team All-SEC in 93, 241 games. He started 238 of them. And, of course, was with that great offensive line with the Jets and that great run they had in 98, that great Jet team. that went to the AFC Championship game only to lose to Denver. I mean, the Jets' offense averaged 357 yards a game, second best in the AFC, fourth best in the league, controlling the ball for an average of 32-17. Of course, Curtis Martin, he had a huge year that year. And then 99, went to the Pro Bowl and had another great year. And of course, in the 2000, just a great offensive lineman. Definitely deserves to be where he is, without a doubt. Ed Reed, what can you say? I mean, the heart and soul of that Raven defense, along with Ray Lewis. I mean, you saw how emotional Ray Lewis was, and rightfully so. Out of the U, with the Baltimore Ravens, 2002 to 2012. Played for two different teams in 2013, the Houston Texans and the New York Jets. Worked as the assistant defensive backs coach for my Buffalo Bills. I never even knew that. Super Bowl champion with the Ravens, Super Bowl 47. 9-time Pro Bowler, 5-time First Team All-Pro, 3-time Second Team All-Pro, 2004 Defensive Player of the Year. Led the NFL in interceptions 3 times, 2004, 2008, and 2010. Theme of the show, 2000s All-Decade Team, Baltimore Ravens Ring of Honor. Was a BCS National Champion with the U in 2001. Co-Big East Defensive Player of the Year in 2001. 2-time Consensus All-American, 2000 to 2001. Career 1,590 interception return yards. That's an NFL record. Also had a 107-yard interception return, also an NFL record. 643 tackles, 6 sacks, 139 passes defended, 64 interceptions, 1,590 yards of interception returns, 11 forced fumbles, 13 fumble recoveries, 9 defensive touchdowns. To me, I think he is the second most deserving behind Tony Gonzalez. I have Ty Law in there at number 3. And then rounding it out, Johnny Robinson was a safety. I think he was one of those senior committee inductees. Played for the Kansas City Chiefs. He also when he was with the Dallas Texans. You remember the Kansas City Chiefs used to be known as the Dallas Texans. He played with only them from 1960 to 1971. A Super Bowl champion, winning Super Bowl 4 with the Chiefs when they beat Minnesota. Went to the Pro Bowl in 1970. Also in 1970 was a first team All-Pro. Led the NFL in interceptions in 1970. 3-time AFL champion, 6-time AFL All-Star, 5-time first team All-AFL, 2-time second team All-AFL. Led the AFL in interceptions in 1966. Was named to the AFL All-Time Team. A member of the Kansas City Chiefs Hall of Fame. Also a product of LSU. First team All-SEC in 1958. Second team All-SEC in 1959. 57 career interceptions. 741 yards worth of returns. 2 defensive touchdowns. 15 offensive touchdowns. And also was known for his charity work. In 1980, he founded and operated a youth home, Johnny Robinson's Boys Home for Troubled Boys in Monroe, Louisiana, and a longtime supporter of children's causes. So that's the story on that. So on behalf of all of us here at Strictly Sports, we want to send out our heartfelt congratulations to all the inductees, whether they're deserving or not, into the 2019 Pro Football Hall of Fame class. And they will be honored it'll be in August. We know that. It'll probably be the first weekend in August. That's usually when it is. And Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. I mean, it's going to be a magical night, as it always is. And I cannot wait. I mean, it'll be right around the time of my birthday. I know that for a fact. So So congratulations to all the inductees. Well deserved. And more power to you guys. Okay, now, Super Bowl 53. That's where we're going to continue on here. I mean, what can we say about this? I mean, New England Patriots winning Super Bowl 53. They defeated the Los Angeles Rams by a final score of 13-3. Lowest scoring Super Bowl of all time. They combined for only 16 points, and pretty much it was all about the New England Patriot defense. I mean, I'll be the first to admit, I was expecting a shootout. I really was. I mean, I'm not at all surprised New England won. I had a feeling that they would. I mean, it was at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Second time they met in the Super Bowl 36, the other. And, we kicked things off with Chloe and Halle performing America the Beautiful. The legendary Gladys Knight with the Star-Spangled Banner. And both of those were stirring renditions. I read our good friend Eric Carrier's Facebook page, and even Eric Carrier, you know how he is, big, hulking, tough guy, and he is. Like, I could have sworn I read that he was moved by both performances, especially Gladys Knight. I mean,
I agree. I was even moved by Gladys Knight, man. 74 years young, and she did that. I mean, I have to say it has to be one of the top 5 national anthem performances ever in a Super Bowl. Like, top 5. It was that amazing.
Amen. Amen to that. I mean, what can you say about her? I mean, it was, very moving indeed. I mean, many wrestling fans best remember her performing, America the Beautiful at WrestleMania 4. But that performance, I got to be honest, was far better than WrestleMania 4, even though WrestleMania 4 was great too. But this one, I agree. Definitely top 5 when it comes to all time. When you think Super Bowl national anthems, you have to think Whitney Houston at 25 and so many other great performances over the years. But Gladys Knight, incredible. And then, of course, Maroon 5 with Big Boy of Outkast and Travis Scott did the halftime show. A lot of people poo-pooed all over it, rightfully so. Let's be realistic. Halftime heat, courtesy of NXT, far, far better. And myself, Michael Bullock, and the newest member of our broadcast team, Mr. Mike Silvera, we all agreed that was a 5-star classic. No doubt about
Agreed.
it in our minds. Was that MF?
Agreed.
Yeah. Amazing. The game itself, yeah. Not the game I was hoping for. I mean, MF was very pleased about it. I mean, this was an MF game. This was a defensive battle. Who would have thunk? I mean, you would have thought 2 dynamic offenses like the Patriots and the Rams, both in the top 4, 2 of the 4 highest scoring teams in the league, and we only got that. I mean, paid attendance 70,081. Patriots outgained the Rams 407 yards to 260. They combined for, surprisingly, 667 yards of offense. I thought it would have been a lot less. But New England, 22 first downs to 14 for the Rams. Time of possession, 33 minutes and 10 seconds for the Patriots, 26 minutes and 50 seconds for the Rams. Rams committed 9 penalties for 65 yards. Patriots only had 3 penalties for 20 yards. Each team had a turnover. And the Patriots setting 17 records. But the final numbers, Tom Brady, 21 of 35, 262 yards and an interception. Sony Michel, 18 carries, 94 yards and a touchdown. Julian Edelman, 10 catches, 141 yards. Rob Gronkowski, 6 catches for 87 yards. For the Rams, Jared Goff, 19 of 38, 229 yards, 1 interception. Todd Gurley, 10 carries for 35 yards. CJ Anderson, 7 carries for 22 yards. Brandon Cooks, 8 catches for 120 yards. Robert Woods had 5 for 70. And John Parry was the referee. And yeah, total defensive effort here. I mean, Bill Belichick becomes the oldest coach to win it at the age of 60. He wins it at 66 years and 293 days. Tom Brady, the oldest quarterback to win it at 41 years and 183 days. I mean, the Patriots now with 6 Super Bowl wins, tied now for the most by any team, the other being the Pittsburgh Steelers. They only needed 1 touchdown to win that game. Most first downs by a penalty with 4. And the Rams, the fewest points scored by any Super Bowl team. They tied that record with MF's Dolphins in Super Bowl 6 against Dallas. And what can I say about Julian Edelman? I'm going to be honest with you. I went on the record 2 weeks ago when we did our preview show. I went on the record and I told Michael Bullock, I believe in my heart of hearts that Julian Edelman is going to be the MVP of this game. And sure enough, I believe I had that one. I'm not at all surprised I was right. But, you know, disappointing as the game was, well, from my perspective, I mean, I know MF was more than pleased, and I know MF's gonna, wax poetic about it. But nonetheless, it was, I can honestly, this ranks up there as one of the most dominant defensive performances by a team. I mean, when it comes to defensive performances all time, I mean, the Chicago Bears in Super Bowl 20, I mean, that ranks up there. I mean, the Baltimore Ravens in Super Bowl 35, that was another dominant performance. This Patriots team, what they did, just incredible. And wow, just absolutely amazing. Holding the highest scoring team in the NFL this year, the Rams, who led the league in scoring at 33 a game. That's all they managed, and they held them to just 3. Shutting down the running game. I mean, just amazing. Patriots, 4 sacks. Dante Hightower with 2. Kyle Van Noy had 1. Jonathan Jones had 1. Rams only had 1 sack. That was John Franklin Myers. Patriots also had 1 interception. Stephon Gilmore with that big interception late. Corey Littleton had the Ram interception. And both teams only punted twice. And Greg Zuerlein, missed that kick at the end. And what else is there to say? And believe it or not, something very disturbing that came out of this. Viewership. Super Bowl 53 ratings. The lowest in 11 years. Lowest rated Super Bowl in 11 years. I mean, still a fairly high score. The game averaged a 44.9 rating in the 56 markets measured by the Nielsen. ratings. That rating is down 5% from last year and the lowest since 2008. According to the Nielsen data, 98.2 million viewers tuned into the big game. And CBS, which aired the game for the first time, which aired the game this time around, and you counted streaming platform viewers, that put the total at 100.7. And that number is still down from the 105.4 million who watched on all platforms last year. Deadline reported that last year's game was seen by 103.4 million viewers. CBS sold 30-second ads for $5.25 million each on average. The network expected more than 100 million viewers, a number that has been exceeded by every Super Bowl since 2010. And, it just goes to show you, folks, people like offense, including me. And that's all there is to say on that. So whether you love them or you hate them, congratulations to the New England Patriots, Super Bowl 53 champions, 6 times. And you got to credit them for everything they've been through this year with all the drama and all the injuries and those 3 epic and controversial tirades by Derek Ferrera a la EDP 445, especially after the Tennessee game and the Miami Miracle. And of course, the most controversial after their loss to Pittsburgh. And, well, Derek Ferrera got what he wanted, He unfortunately had to develop that EDP 445 mindset, and he felt by doing that he thought that was going to turn the team around, and boy howdy did it ever turn him around. I mean, that Pittsburgh loss would end up being the last game they would lose all year. They closed winning 5 in a row. The 2 regular season games against Buffalo and the Jets, both dominant performances. And then that divisional round win over the Chargers, winning that AFC Championship game for the ages against Kansas City. And then this dominant defensive performance in Super Bowl 53. So I'll tell you what, I mean, I was over at Michael Bullock's house with Mike Silvera and, of course, our other dear friends, Mike and Brian Keenan. The 5 of us in Bullock's living room. We enjoyed it. Yeah, the game may not have been the greatest. It'll definitely rank as one of the worst of all time. I'll be honest with you. But, just being there with all of them was such a blessing. And watching, and then we watched Halftime Heat, and we were all, thoroughly impressed with how incredible NXT, that Halftime Heat. I've gone on the record and said that Halftime Heat was the best thing, the whole night. That was far and away better than the game itself, if I'm going to be honest. But nonetheless, we had a special moment, and, we were into it. And when Michelle scored that touchdown, Bullock just lost his mind. They lost their minds. And then when the game was over, I mean, during the trophy presentation, Bullock's family, his parents and his sister, they came home. And when they came home, oh boy, talk about a special and happy moment for the Bullock family, all diehard Patriot fans. And, and Michael Bullock led his family and all of us in the infamous Teddy Bruschi cheer. He did the infamous Teddy Bruschi whenever they would win a big game. He did how do we feel about the Patriots winning a 6th Super Bowl all time? Oh, yeah. That was awesome. So congratulations to the Patriots, their fan base, Michael Bullock, Derek Ferrera, and all members of, my family and church family and everybody who happened to be Patriot fans. They're all happy. My young friend, Josh Avery, he said he cried. He was so happy he cried. That's all I can say about that. That young man was so emotionally happy, to see his team go all the way and win it all. And that's all there is to it. So hopefully next Super Bowl 54, which will be at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, hopefully we'll get a better game next year, regardless of who's in it. But nonetheless, MF and I, We enjoyed it as always. I know he was happy with how the game turned out. Me, honestly, not so much. I had the Patriots winning 34-31. I never thought in my wildest dreams would end up being the lowest scoring Super Bowl of all time, and the Patriots would put in one of the most dominant defensive performances you will ever see in the Super Bowl. Ranks up there with the '85 Bears and the 2000 Ravens. Those to me are the three greatest, no particular order. Those to me are the three greatest defensive performances by a Super Bowl champion of all time. No doubt about it. So, congratulations, New England. And we'll see what happens, and we'll do it all again in September. And Michael Bullock informed me that with this upcoming season being the 100th NFL season, he's reporting that there's rumors going around that the NFL is actually planning to switch things up. You know how we have that Thursday night game, where the Super Bowl champion plays in that? He's reporting that the NFL is considering having the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers square off in that very first game. And the Patriots, their first game, that Super Bowl banner raising ceremony, would be moved to the first Sunday night. Now, that's just a rumor. Read into it what you will. Take it with a grain of salt, like Derek would say. But, just rumors. The schedule doesn't come out for another 2+ months. So we'll see what happens with that. So that's all I can say on that. So, all right, MF. I mean, I know you're chomping at the bits here. I mean, Super Bowl 53, for me, it was But for you, you were like, oh, hell yeah. This about damn time we got a Super Bowl like this.
You know what? And the thing is that this entire year, the NFL was always catering to the offense. The offense this, offense that, high-scoring days, and everything else. And, there are some defensive marks out there saying, what the heck is going on? The rules are catered to the offense. It's getting more and more offensive. The ridiculous penalties that we were seeing were geared more offensively than anything else. And now, all of a sudden, this time around, a defensive Super Bowl. And you're like, what the heck? So, I mean, we were pleasantly surprised. We were stunned. But, at the end of the day, look, was it the most glamorous Super Bowl? Absolutely not. I'm not even gonna stand here and disagree with what you guys are saying. Yes, it was a horrible game. It was a boring game. It was this. It was that. But it's a change of pace game. It was a game that kind of felt like it was definitely a lot more. It was a lot more different and a lot more unique. It was more stylistic than anything else, and I think that's the best way to call about the game. And Trey Wingo, God bless him for going on that epic rant that he did on the Wingo and Golic show on ESPN Radio and simulcast on ESPN2 and ESPNU. He went off on a rant, absolutely went ballistic on everybody, basically calling that the game was all boring, this and that, and everything else. I wish I could pull the audio of it, but I will not, because out of A, copyright, and B, I don't even think I can even find that video. But he went in on everybody, basically telling people to shut up, that you guys are a bunch of morons, whoever thought that the game was boring, and this and that. He went in on everybody. So basically, you could add two more people to that list, which is Anthony Florio and Michael Bullock on that list. So you guys get added to that. But it was definitely a unique Super Bowl. Was it the perfect Super Bowl? Absolutely not. But if you're a defensive fan, you couldn't get anything better than that. And the thing is that I disagree with the MVP. Yes, Julian Edelman had a great game, no doubt about it. How the hell does Stephon Gilmore did not get the MVP for this? 5 tackles, 3 defensive blocks, and on top of that, the INT that solidified the Super Bowl win for the Patriots. I'm sorry, defensive Super Bowl, defensive guy should have won it. I will definitely go in that. Also, if you really want to be a little bit on top of that, and I'll even openly admit, if Edelman didn't have a great game, Edelman had a great game, and no doubt about it, he deserves it. But I could even make an argument that Sony Michel deserves the MVP of the Super Bowl too, because of the fact that Sony Michel got the lone touchdown of the game. He got the only touchdown of that game that pretty much put the game on ice for the Patriots. So you can say whatever you want to say about the Super Bowl being boring, because I'll openly admit it was pretty bad. I thought the halftime show was worse than anything else. Probably one of the biggest snore fests I've ever seen in my life. Thank God for the halftime heat. Anthony, you're absolutely right. Greatest thing ever. And as far as the anthem goes, like I said, Gladys Knight absolutely killed the national anthem, absolutely knocks it out of the ballpark. You know, thank God they had the roof. They opened up the retractable roof, because trust me, if that thing would have been closed, she would have brought the whole thing down. It was that epic. Tremendous job, unbelievable performance by Gladys Knight. Definitely one of my top 5 in all time of the greatest national anthems that's ever been done in a Super Bowl. You can go with Whitney, Mariah Carey, Beyonce, Lady Gaga at Super Bowl 50. You could put Kelly Clarkson on that list from Super Bowl 46. You could put even Pink, who is dealing with a flu a year ago, in Super Bowl 52, and put that in like a top 10 list. So she's definitely up there, top 5 in my mind, for greatest national anthem ever to be done in a Super Bowl. So no doubt about it. Great night all the way around. Atlanta, you were a tremendous host, and get ready, Miami. Boys, we got the game next year. I'm so excited. Going home, Miami, Florida, home of the Dolphins, Hard Rock Stadium. We wanted this. We got it. That's why they did the renovations for the stadium, for the right to get that Super Bowl. So we got it. Super Bowl 54. The only thing that it sucks, it's on Fox. God damn it. That's all I'm just saying. That means we got to hear boring Aikman and boring Buck to do that Super Bowl next year. I don't mind if it was NBC. I prefer it be on CBS to have Nance and Romo, because one other thing, guys, Tony Romo, you are, dude, for your first Super Bowl, I got to give you an A+, man. You were absolutely on point during the entire game. You've won me over so much in these past couple of years that I'm starting to learn a lot more of you and bring in that little added element of the pre-snap looks and everything else. So you're really making my job even more harder, because now I gotta start thinking that kind of element now, bringing that to my quote-unquote Phil Simms' commentary. So I'm going to start to think about pre-snap looks, look for this guy. I'm going to have to incorporate that into my commentary for next year. You bring a new dimension for me to make me go get better as an announcer. So Tony, thank you for that, my friend. I definitely got a lot of studying I'm going to have to do for this upcoming season. So no, nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Before we move on, there is just one thing. During Gladys Knight's national anthem, you noticed we had a flyover.
Yes.
Was it just me, or did it have a WrestleMania feel?
It did. And the thing was, the flyover was picture perfect, man.
Absolutely.
I don't think you could have gotten a better flyover than they did.
Oh, man.
I mean, even when Lady Gaga did her anthem, how powerful and how and that, I think that's the thing, and that's the one thing that a lot of people are loving about her anthem is that it was real. Like, you felt the emotion of Gladys Knight singing it. And I think that's the one thing that and I'm going to be real. Now I'm going to get real blunt with you on this one, Anthony. A lot of the times you hear when somebody does the national anthem, sometimes they oversing it, overdo it, go with like high vocals, everything else. But for people like Kelly Clarkson, who did a tremendous job with her anthem in 46, because of the fact it was sweet, it was powerful, and it was perfect. Gladys Knight brought an element of that soul. They called her the Empress of Soul, and we saw it right before our very eyes. Eric Carrier was right. Even I was choking up with tears because of that emotion that she brought. And even a lot of my friends were saying it, that, the way they did it, it was perfect because she did it in such a dignified and classy way and she did the song justice. I think that's the best way to say it. She did the song justice.
Fair enough. So, all right. So, with all that being said, let's close this thing out with our newest NHL Power Rankings. And with all due respect, MF, I'm actually going to take this for a spin first because
go right ahead.
I got my rankings all set to go.
Go ahead.
I'll be honest. So, one honorable mention I do want to mention, and that is the Chicago Blackhawks. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. They won their last one, but here's the thing: they're just a smidge under 500. You can consider them the quote-unquote number 11, if you will. So that's the Chicago Blackhawks. So now onto the real rankings, and I'm going to start it off at number 10 with the Dallas Stars. Dallas Stars started off at number 10. They're 6-3-1 in their last 10. They lost their last game. Their overall record, 29-23-5 for 63 points, tied for third in the Central Division. They're second in goals allowed. They're fifth in the penalty kill. They're 11th in penalty minutes, 16th in the power play, and 29th. Yeah, they got to work on the goal scoring. They're near last in that. Since the break, since the All-Star break, when they came back from it, they played pretty well. They had wins over the Buffalo Sabres. They had a 4-game winning streak out of that. They beat Buffalo. They beat Minnesota at home. A big road win in Nashville, and then a home win over Arizona. But then road losses to Nashville and Arizona, a road win in Florida, and then got beat down by the Tampa Bay Lightning last night. Oof. They go to Carolina next, and then they have Nashville coming in, St. Louis coming in, Carolina coming in. They go to Chicago, then they got to go to Vegas, and then they got to go to LA, and that'll take us up to the next power rankings. I assume we'll do this again in 2 weeks. So that's really all I can say on that. So Dallas Stars come in at number 10. So MF, do you agree, disagree, what?
Well, this one's actually a tough decision, Anthony, and to say the very least, it's not easy for me. I actually have Dallas a little higher, just a little higher, not much, but a little higher. My number 10 here, I'm actually going to go with the San Jose Sharks. 6-4 in the last 10. The same criteria that you said. They did get walloped by the Washington Capitals 5-1 just last night, and that definitely was a major indemnity in my mind, and I had to punish them for that. Let alone they've done pretty well lately, but I got to give them that credit on that one. The only reason why I'm not punishing Dallas is because one of the losses that they suffered recently was an overtime loss. They did lose an overtime. It was an overtime loss, so I rather not punish them for that. And then, yeah, I mean, then they did get, and they also got walloped. But the thing was, they got walloped by the best team in the NHL right now, by the Tampa Bay Lightning. So, in one way, I can't punish them for that kind of a loss than anything else. I gotta go. San Jose's a lot more better than Dallas, and they absolutely got throttled by the Caps. And the Caps right now, they're not really that they're good, but they're not great right now. I mean, so I kind of have to hold that against them. That's kind of a marker on me. So my number 10 is San Jose. Number 9, this is where I have the Dallas Stars. You basically said everything about Dallas. I'm not going to rehash that. Anthony, it's all yours.
Okay. With all due respect, I don't have San Jose in my rankings, honestly. My number 9, this is actually where I have the Nashville Predators. Nashville Predators come in at number 9, also 6-3-1 in their last 10. They won their last game, and of course, far better record than Dallas. That's why I had to put Nashville here. 34, 21-5, 73 points. Second in the Central, 2 points out of first. And believe it or not, the first place team is also not in my rankings. The last 10 weighs very heavily on me. But Nashville comes in the number 9 position. Like I said, the 6-3-1. They're 4th in goals allowed. They're 10th in scoring. They're 11th in the penalty kill, 19th in penalty minutes. But they're near the bottom in the power play. They got to work on the power play. Since the All-Star break, when they came back, they have a road win over Florida, home loss to Dallas, home wins over Arizona and Dallas, back-to-back losses in a home-and-home series against St. Louis, in St. Louis and then at home, an embarrassing home loss to the Detroit Red Wings. Newsflash, the Detroit Red Wings, not as good as they were 20 years ago. Let's not kid ourselves. And then a home win over Montreal last night. They got to go to Vegas next against the Western Conference champion Vegas Golden Knights. Then they go to Dallas. And then they got LA, the LA Kings coming in, Colorado coming in, Edmonton coming in, and then at St. Louis. And that'll get us to our next rankings in a couple of weeks. So, they started out red hot, then they cooled off a bit, but, they're right there. So I think this team could definitely make another cup run. You remember 2017, they went to the Stanley Cup Finals only to lose to the Penguins. And, they got the talent, but what they really need to do is work on the power play. 31st. That's not going to get it done. You need to capitalize on the power plays, because if you don't, you ain't winning no cup. So that's all there is to say on that. Nashville Predators coming in at number 9. So MF, number 8. That goes to me as well. So, okay. Who do I have at number 8? Okay, number 8. The Montreal Canadiens. They come in at number 8. 6-2-2 in their last 10. The only downside is they've lost 2 in a row. But the 6-2-2, that weighs heavily on me. 31, 19-7, 69 points. They're 4th in the Atlantic Division. 9th in goals allowed. They're 14th in goal scoring, 18th in penalty minutes, 20th in penalty kill. And here's another team that has power play issues. They're 30th in power play. They got to work on that. Since the All-Star break, home loss to New Jersey, Then they had a 3-game winning streak with home wins over Edmonton, Anaheim, and Winnipeg. Very impressive. But then back-to-back home loss to Toronto, and then a road loss at Nashville. They're in the midst of a 3-game road trip. They go to Tampa Bay tomorrow night, and then Sunday they got to go to Florida. Then they go back home on Tuesday to host Columbus. The red-hot Philadelphia Flyers coming in on Thursday. And then they go to Toronto next Saturday, the 23rd. And then they're at New Jersey. And then they're at Detroit. And then that'll get us to our next rankings. They started out slow, but they caught fire recently. And yes, they've lost 2 in a row. But remember, the 6-2-2 in the last 10. Good enough for me. So, who knows? This could be a team we might need to keep an eye on when it comes to the Eastern Conference. Especially if they make it. So, that's all I can say on that. They haven't been the same team since, you remember, 5 years ago when our Rangers, you remember when we got a hold of them, and we all remember how that story turned out, and that was a happy ending and a night we'll never forget. So 5-29-14, people. That's all there is to it. So nothing more to say. Montreal Canadiens at number 8. So MF, how about it?
Montreal's definitely there. I can't deny that. The 6-2-2 is actually good enough for me. Yes, they did have a loss. They lost to Nashville, which even for me, I'm a little beyond miffed that. Well, I think Nashville definitely is a major player, no doubt about it. They're definitely looking a lot more better than they have in recent months, and who knows? They're right in the thick of having the best record in the Western Conference. But there's a few teams out there that's looking really good, so we'll have to wait and see on that one. So number 8 is Nashville. No, number 8 is Montreal. I'm sorry. All right, so number 7. All right, now I'm starting to look around, and number 7. Let's see. Who do I want to put at 7? I believe I'm gonna go with. Do I want to put Carolina here, or is it too soon for Carolina?
Little too soon.
Little too soon. All right. What? How do you feel about the Islanders?
Yes.
All right. All right. I'll go with the Metro Division leading New York Islanders. I'll give them that. 6-2-2. They did win a shutout victory over when they played last night. Shutout victory over the Columbus Blue Jackets. Very impressive. And yeah, a lot of people are really really high on the Islanders. The only problem is, can they sustain it? Can they keep this up? I think that's the one thing. That's the biggest question mark right now with the Islanders is, can they keep it up? Can they keep the momentum? Some people saying no. Some people saying maybe. We'll have to wait and see. Islanders looking good. I can definitely say that. 6-2-2, leading the division. I got nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
I agree. It is the Islanders. New York Islanders at number 7. To me, they're the biggest surprise this year for me. I mean, MF, they trade away their franchise player, John Tavares. You'd think this team was going to be an absolute hot mess. Oh, no. The young talent just blowing me away. I mean, I honestly thought once they got rid of Tavares, I'm like, oh, this team's going nowhere. This team's not going to do a damn thing. Tavares was the heart and soul of that team. They're like, John who? No problem. We got this. To the point of leading the league in goals allowed. Their goaltending unit, number 1 in the league right now. Who would have thunk it? They're 9th in penalty minutes, 16th in the penalty kill. They need to work on the goal scoring. They're 22nd in that. Another power play issue. They're 27th, near the bottom. They got to work on that if they're going to, echo the sentiments of, 35, 40 years ago when they were winning all those Stanley Cups. So, we'll see what happens. So, since the All-Star break, a tough home loss to Tampa Bay, a nice home win over Los Angeles. They lost at Boston, and then they won 3 in a row. A road win in New Jersey, home wins over Colorado and Minnesota. Tough loss at Buffalo, and then that shutout win at Columbus last night that MF mentioned. They're back home tomorrow. They host the Edmonton Oilers, Connor McDavid and company. Then they got to go to Calgary against the surprising Flames. Unfortunately, I don't have them in my rankings either. They've been struggling as of late, even though they've been really good this year. A three-game Canadian road trip at Calgary on Wednesday, at Edmonton Thursday, and then at Vancouver next Saturday. And then they come home and host Calgary on the 26th, and then they host their old friend, John Tavares, comes back home, this time in a Toronto Maple Leafs uniform. So that ought to be interesting. We'll see if he gets crucified or if they give him the hero's welcome. So we'll see how that goes. So that'll get us to our next rankings in a couple weeks. So to me, one of the two biggest surprises. The other big surprise for me, the Calgary Flames. I mean, I didn't think they were going to be any good, but they've really surprised me. So, but to me, the Islanders. You trade away your franchise player, John Tavares, and they're doing this. Wow, unbelievable. And who knows? Like MF said, can they sustain it? We'll have to wait and see. So,
trading deadline is going to be very crucial because of the fact that, you know, normally teams are buyers and sellers. You know, the Islanders are going to be buyers, but what can they get? What do they need that's going to put them over the top, that will make them not just a cute little story, but make them and make us believe that they're Stanley Cup contenders? That's going to become the big deal. And with the deadline on Monday, this is going to be very interesting. What type of assets can they use? What type of assets can they get that's going to make them because that's the thing. Because right now, I don't think they're Stanley Cup contenders.
I agree.
I don't think they're there yet. But you get a defenseman and maybe get a second or third line guy that can elevate and help out, because I think the top line is set. But you need a second or third line player, or what they say, a top 6, top 9 player, and then maybe get one defenseman that would be like a top 4 defenseman, and then you might got yourself something to go. Because goaltending, there's not much you need. There's not much you need on goaltending. Goaltending, you're locked. You got the best goaltending tandem in the game right now. So you just need guys that's going to help on the power play. You get that, you might have something really special going down there in the other side of New York. Not the Rangers side, but the Islanders side. And we haven't said that in a very long time either.
Oh, no. It's been 36 years since they've last won it all, when they won the last of those 4 consecutive Stanley Cups from 1980 to 83. So, yeah. So 34, 17, and 6, 74 points. The leaders of the Metropolitan Division. I never thought it would be them. I thought it would be obviously Washington and Pittsburgh, the two teams that have had the proverbial stranglehold on that division and the Stanley Cup. So, and of course, oh, by the way, shout out to the Metropolitan Division, winning yet another All-Star game, further proving that we are the most superior division in the NHL today, the Metropolitan Division, hands down.
Agreed.
So MF and I, we had a nice little celebration in the Shark Tank a few weeks ago. Another All-Star win and another $1 million payday for the Metropolitan Division. So, and how about our boy Henrik Lundqvist? Come on now. Come on, somebody. Is that unbelievable? So,
only giving up 2 goals the entire All-Star game. The 2 periods that he was in, gave up the 2 goals in the first game against the Atlantic Division. Then when he played in that $1 million championship game, he didn't even give up a goal. He was basically perfect in the 10 minutes that he played.
And what about what he did in the skills competition?
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
winning that event, that event where, you know, whichever goalie has like the longest streak of saves, he ended up winning that. So 36 years old. I mean, just amazing. So I know it's been yet another down year for us, even though we had a nice win tonight against Buffalo. But, you know, it is what it is. We got a long way to go. But unless something miraculous happens like that, I don't see us going very far again this year. You know, it is what it is. But you never know. Maybe one day the stars will align. But, you know, 5 years ago they should have. But, you know, it is what it is. So, all right, moving on. Number 6, the Boston Bruins. Boston Bruins coming in at number 6. 6-1-3 in their last 10. 3-game winning streak. 32, 17-8, 72 points. Third in the Atlantic Division. 3 points out of second. They're second in goals allowed. Tuukka Rask and company. Second in the power play. They're getting it done on the power play. Second in the league in that. 14th in the penalty kill. 16th for goal scoring. Their weakness, the penalties. They're near the bottom in penalties. They're 29th in the penalty minutes. That's something you got to work on come playoff time. We know they'll be there. So we'll wait and see. So with all that, since the All-Star break, how about on Super Bowl Sunday? Super Bowl Sunday, they went in to Washington and they beat the Stanley Cup champs on Super Bowl Sunday, kicking off what ended up being a wonderful day for New England sports fans. The Bruins winning, the Celtics winning, and of course the Patriots bringing home the Super Bowl. They beat the Capitals, and then another nice home win against the Islanders. The only blemish, they lost 4-3 to the Rangers in Madison Square Garden. Sorry, not sorry. Me and MF, we're happy about that one. Sorry, Bruin fans. Michael Bullock, Kevin LaRoche, all you Bruin fans out there. Sorry, not sorry. But since then, though, home wins over Los Angeles, Colorado, and then defeating the Chicago Blackhawks in their first meeting since that incredible Winter Classic at Notre Dame Stadium that MF and I had a lot of fun with. And right now, they're playing at this hour against the Anaheim Ducks as they kick off their... Whoa, they got a big road. They're in the midst of a 5-game road trip, 4 of them on the West Coast. And right now, as the third period gets underway, they have a 2-0 lead on the Anaheim Ducks. Tomorrow, they'll be in Los Angeles against the Kings. Then they got to go to San Jose on Monday night. And then Wednesday night, as part of an NBCSN doubleheader, they're going to Vegas. They get to play the Western Conference champs. Oh, that's going to be hella fun. And then the road trip concludes on Friday the 23rd at St. Louis. And then when they come back home, they got the San Jose Sharks coming in on the 26th. And then the Tampa Bay Lightning coming in on the 28th. So that's it for that. So Tuukka Rask and the goaltending unit, well done. Second in that. The power play has been lights out. They're second in that department. I mean, this may be a team we may need to keep an eye on when it comes to playoff time. I mean, can they hang, with your Tampa Bays and your Washingtons and your Pittsburghs and all that? I think they can, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that. But that's really all there is to say on that. So I'm thoroughly impressed with the Bees. I mean, Patrice Bergeron recently playing in his 1,000th game. So congratulations to him. Marchand's been playing great. Pasternak's been playing great. I mean, Pasternak, I believe he won one of the skills competition events, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah. So we'll wait and see. I mean, this could be a dark horse team, come playoff time. I don't think they can go all the way, but with the recent success of New England teams, you never know. So look at the Red Sox, look at the Patriots. So could the Bruins be next? I would love to see it. You know, me being an old school Bruin fan at one time, but you know, we'll see. I just don't think so. Sorry. So I love your body of work for now, but a couple months from now, I'll get back to you. Boston Bruins number 6. MF, how about it?
I agree. Boston Bruins number 6. I think you might want to amend that, especially if the Bruins wins tonight. I think that they would be top 5 worthy. If they do win. Right now they're 15 minutes away from it. They're up 2-0, but Anaheim, you never know it with the Ducks. Anything can happen. I know the Ducks are struggling. Actually, as a matter of fact, they got so bad. I think I heard a rumor or news the other day that they got rid of their coach.
Yes, he was fired.
He was fired. So
Randy Carlisle, yep.
Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see how that affects the team in a way, because the Bruins are playing some really good hockey lately. But number 6, I definitely agree, is Boston. All right, going into the top 5, leading off in the top 5. Hey, I gotta say it. Carolina Hurricanes, number 5. Look, okay. Now I know a lot of people are like, "Why are you putting them 5? Why are you putting them 5?" Okay, here's the reason why: 7-2-1, great numbers. Winners of 2 in a row, that's really good as well. They just are outside of the playoff line. They are missing it by 1 point. They're 1 point away from getting to the playoffs. Right now, Pittsburgh 67. They're 66. Very crucial games coming up. They got to play Dallas tomorrow night, or I should say today, now that we're at the midnight hour. So they got to play and they got to win that game. Then from there, then you go onward, upward and onward and do the whole 9 yards. Anthony will probably run down the list in a little bit. I know he would. But right now, they're playing great hockey. It's just, can they turn it around and bring it all together? We'll have to wait and see. But my number 5, we're in the top 5. We lead it off with the Carolina Hurricanes. Anthony, go.
Yep, we agree again. Carolina Hurricanes, number 5. 30, 22-6, 66 points. 7th in goals allowed and 7th in penalty minutes. They're 16th in the penalty kill, 18th in goal scoring, 23rd in the power play. And what they've done since the All-Star break, which has been very impressive, by the way, a home win over the Western Conference champion Vegas Golden Knights. Unbelievable. Then a tough home loss to Calgary on Super Bowl Sunday. Then they went into Pittsburgh and absolutely pounded the Penguins. That was awesome. 4-0. And then a hard-fought road win against the Buffalo Sabres in Buffalo. The next one breaks my heart because, you know, they went into Madison Square Garden. On the night, they honored the 25th anniversary of maybe the most emotionally charged Stanley Cup, one of the most emotionally charged Stanley Cup championship wins of all time. The 94 Rangers. MF, I'm sure you heard about it.
Yes, I actually saw the ceremony.
Right? Was that ceremony?
Wow. Yeah.
Mark Messier, Brian Leetch, Adam Graves, Mike Richter, Alexei Kovalev, Coach Keenan. They were all there. I mean, if that didn't bring a tear to your eye, Ranger fans, I don't know what will. I mean, it was probably the most emotional moment for us since, you know, our surprise run to the finals 5 years ago. But on all nights, you had to spoil that for us. You had to go in there and you had to spoil it for us. I'm not happy about that. Honestly, I'm not.
Anthony, I hate to do this to you, but I got to interrupt you. Yes. I got some major breaking news, and it's actually out of the NHL. The Edmonton Oilers has just traded Cam Talbot to the Philadelphia Flyers for their goaltender, Anthony Stolarz. So this is goaltender for goaltender. Stolarz, who is actually the backup for the Philadelphia Flyers, and Cam Talbot is now a Philadelphia Flyer.
Wow. Cam Talbot was, at one time the backup to Henrik Lundqvist with the Rangers.
Yes.
So we know Mr. Talbot very well. So very capable backup indeed when he was with us in New York. But like I said, getting back to Carolina, they had the home win over Vegas, the tough loss to Calgary, those road wins in Pittsburgh and Buffalo, and then last Friday night going into Madison Square Garden and ripping the hearts out of Ranger fans on a very special and emotional night, the night where they honored the 25th anniversary of the 1994 New York Rangers, who won the hearts of all of us, including MF. Now, I'll admit, at the time, I was not a Ranger fan. I was a Bruin fan at the time. But, once I, watched everything, I came across the Rangers Stanley Cup Championship video, and watching that, yeah, now I know why. So, damn you, Carolina. You had to rip the hearts out of all of us Ranger fans on that night where you had all those legends and Hall of Famers. I mean, and that doesn't sit well with me. Honestly, it doesn't. But nonetheless, moving on. Then they lost at New Jersey, and then a nice road win in Ottawa, and then tonight, defeating the Edmonton Oilers, just like they did in 2006. I'm sure it conjured up the memories of when the Hurricanes won that Stanley Cup in 2006, when they beat the Edmonton Oilers 3-1, and 3-1 was the final score here. So Dallas coming in tonight, and then Tuesday the Rangers come in, and then they go to Florida on Thursday, at Dallas the next Saturday, and then the LA Kings come in on Tuesday the 26th, and that'll get us to the rankings. So, but yeah, they're coming along. They're playing some great hockey this time around, and I mean when it comes to the Hurricane season, the one thing that really stands out to me, back on December 23rd, they brought back the old school Hartford Whalers. Oh, was that a sight to see? That was awesome. That's your saving grace, by the way, Carolina. I'm still miffed that you spoiled our anniversary night for the Rangers, but it is what it is. But you had that Hartford Whaler night on December 23rd against the Boston Bruins.
And they're going to do it again.
They are?
Yeah. When the next time Carolina's coming down to Boston, which I believe is in March. I think it's like March 8th or something like that. But they've actually announced that they're gonna wear the Hartford Whalers jerseys again against the Bruins at TD Garden in Boston. It's been confirmed.
Well, there's only one word I have for that, and that is a word I learned from Let's Make a Deal earlier this season. Noisters. I love it. So can't wait for that. And it's March 5th, actually. March 5th.
Okay.
That's a Tuesday night, March 5th at the TD Garden. I'll definitely have my eyes peeled for that. I mean, bring back the Hartford Whalers. That's all I can say on that. Bring back the Hartford Whalers and also bring back the Quebec Nordiques. You do that, you got a happy guy right here. So, yep, Carolina Hurricanes. They are number 5. MF had it absolutely right. So, let's move on now to number 4. Number 4, John Tavares' new team, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Also 7-2-1, winners of 2 in a row. They go ahead of Carolina because they have the far better record. 36, 18-3, 75 points. And that's only good enough for second in the Atlantic Division. They lead the league in lowest penalty minutes. Good for them. They're 4th in goals scoring, 7th in goals allowed, 10th in power play, 11th in penalty kill. Sounds like a Stanley Cup resume to me for a team that hasn't won one in 52 years. 1967, the last time the Maple Leafs raised the Stanley Cup banner, but that was long before the Air Canada Center. That was back when they were at the old Maple Leaf Gardens. Missed that facility. But nonetheless, since the break, a tough home loss to Detroit, and then they reeled off 4 wins in a row. Home wins over Pittsburgh, Anaheim, and Ottawa, and then a tough loss, and then they followed that up with a win at Montreal, And then an embarrassing loss at the Rangers on Sunday in Madison Square Garden. That was good for us. And then road wins in Colorado and Vegas. Their road trip continues. They're in the midst of a 6-game road trip. So far, they're 3-1 in the first 4. They go to Arizona. That should be an easy one. But then they got to play the red-hot St. Louis Blues in St. Louis on Tuesday. Ooh, that's not going to be easy, especially with how St. Louis has been playing lately. Watch out. And then the Stanley Cup champs come in, Washington. And then Montreal, that'll be on Thursday. Montreal comes in Saturday. And then Buffalo comes in on the 25th. Edmonton comes in on the 27th. And then they go to the Islanders. John Tavares returns to the Islanders on the 28th. Be interesting to see if he gets crucified or gets that hero's welcome. So we'll see how that goes. But it's Tavares, man. I mean, and Austin Matthews and that young core. I think if there's any team that can challenge Tampa Bay in the East, I think this is the team that can do it. I love this young team. And if they keep doing what they're doing, this could finally be the year Maple Leaf fans have been waiting for. They've been waiting 52 years to raise another Stanley Cup banner at the Air Canada Center. This be the year? It'd be something. So, nothing more to say. Toronto Maple Leafs number 4. So, MF, does this team have what it takes to win it all for the first time in 52 years?
It's possible. No doubt about it. They definitely got the makeup. They definitely got the look. They definitely have the team. There's no doubt about it. They could win the Stanley Cup. We're just going to have to wait and see. But no doubt about it. Number 4 is Toronto. Number 3, okay. I just saw a team that caught my eye. Now, this is tricky because number one is a foregone conclusion. There's no doubt about it. I know who number 1 is. There's no argument that because they are literally the hottest team in the NHL right now.
Yes.
Number 2 and 3, this is where it gets tricky.
Not for me.
Well, it is for me because you're missing somebody here. Because there's one team that's not in a playoff hunt, but
I have
8-1-1 in the last 10.
I have them.
You got them, so you already know who I'm talking about.
Yep.
The other team basically is virtually right now a lock for the President's Trophy. Like they're running away with the President's Trophy and just give it to them right now.
And the odds-on favorites to win it all, too.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. So, because of this, now, normally I would never do this, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yep.
Number 3, I got to go Philadelphia.
Ooh.
Now, no, and I know you're saying, I know you're going to disagree. I know it. But 8-1-1, they just came off a big win. I get it, but come on, I cannot put them over Tampa. There's no way. Winners of 4 in a row, 7-2-1, 7-1-2. I can't do it. I can't pull that trigger. And on top of that, look at the disparaging between the records. I'm sorry. No way, no how. I know the top 10. I know the last 10 is a marker for you, Florio. When you look at the body of work and everything included, I can't do it. Nope. Not regardless of how hot Philadelphia's been lately, I can't do it. No way. Not even close in my mind. This is apples to oranges, and I'll take it any day of the week. Philadelphia is my number 3. I know that's a disagreement. I know you're going to say it's probably Tampa in your mind, but I can't do it. I cannot pull that trigger there. No way. Number 3 is Philadelphia. I'm sorry. There's nothing more for me to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Well, at least we agree on number 1. I'm glad we agree on that.
Oh
So
yeah, we know who number one is.
yes. So now MF made it difficult for me. But yeah, the last 10 though, that definitely that's the difference. Tampa Bay Lightning coming in at number 3, the best team in the league. 43, 11, and 4, 90 points. They lead everything. They lead the league in goals scoring. They lead the league in power play. They're third in penalty kill, fifth in goals against. The only difference is 19th in penalty minutes. That's the only real thing they have to work on. But other than that, this to me right now is the team to beat. This is the team that I think, in all honesty, is going to win it all this year. Since the break, they had a tough loss at Pittsburgh. But then after that, they they went into the Islanders. They beat the Islanders. And then they went into Madison Square Garden and beat the Rangers on a primetime Saturday night game on NBC. But here's the thing, though. They did have back-to-back losses to good teams, Vegas and to St. Louis. But since then, they've won 4 in a row, a hard-fought home win over Pittsburgh, an easy road win in Florida, and then home wins over Calgary, and then that beatdown of Dallas. They got Montreal. They got Montreal coming in tonight. Then Monday they go to Columbus. Tuesday they go to Philadelphia. Buffalo coming in on Thursday. And then Monday the 25th they host Los Angeles. Wednesday the 27th they go to Madison Square Garden. Wednesday night rivalry game, MF. There you go. You know how we love that. And then they got to go to Boston the next night, also on NBCSN. So we're going to be seeing a lot of this team in prime time. 4 NBCSN games at Columbus on the 18th, LA at home on the 25th, and then at the Rangers, Wednesday night rivalry in the Garden, and then Thursday the 28th in TD Garden against Boston. So, yes, to me, the most complete team in the league right now. And I'm going to be honest with you. If this team does not win the Stanley Cup, I will be shocked. Because to me, they're the most dangerous team right now. We're seeing what got them to the finals in 2015. Yes, against us, unfortunately. But, it is what it is. Those 2 dreaded words are coming back into play, MF. You know those 2 words. Bully hockey. Remember that?
Yep.
So that's what it is. It's the bully hockey. That's what's doing it. All they have to do is keep playing that bully hockey, and we'll see this team raise their second Stanley Cup banner, the other in 2004. So, nothing more to say. Tampa Bay Lightning, number 3. Number 2, Philadelphia Flyers, 8-1-1. That's the difference maker. 26, 24, and 7 for 59 points. Yes, I know they're 19th in goal scoring. They're 22nd in power play. They're 25th in penalty minutes and 27th each in goals allowed in penalty kill. But they have just been so red hot right now. I cannot help but be impressed. They started very, very slow. But since the All-Star break, listen to the lineup they've beaten here. A home win over Winnipeg. Winnipeg, one of the top teams in the league. And then go into Madison Square Garden and beat the Rangers. And then you go into Boston and beat the Bruins. Oh, there's more. Home win over Edmonton and Connor McDavid. Home win over Vancouver. A tough home loss to LA. A nice home win against Anaheim. They lose at home to Pittsburgh. And then they had a nice road win in Minnesota on Tuesday. They got the Detroit Red Wings coming in. It's going to be a home-and-home series. They got Detroit coming in tomorrow or today. Then on Sunday, they go to Detroit for a Sunday night game on NBCSN. And then Tampa Bay comes in on Tuesday, at Montreal Thursday. Stadium series next Saturday night against the Pittsburgh Penguins on NBC. Is it Lincoln Financial Field or is it Citizens Bank Park? Where are they playing them at? You know?
I believe it's at the Link, Anthony. I'll double check that in a second.
Yeah, you know we're going to be all over that. And then Buffalo comes in on the 26th, and then they go to Columbus on the 28th, and that'll get us to the next rankings. But
it is the Link.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
So the Stadium Series next Saturday night, prime time, NBC, against the Pittsburgh Penguins. MF and I, we're going to have a lot of fun with that. I'm looking forward to it. So
Yep.
always fun.
That's our game of the night.
Games. What's up?
I said that's the game of our night.
Absolutely.
We'll be covering that game.
Boy, howdy we will. So Stadium Series, we're always all over that. Winter Classic, that story. All-Stars, and then the playoffs. So yeah. So I know they're nowhere near the playoffs, but we cannot help but recognize. So there's no doubt about that. Philadelphia Flyers, it's the 8-1-1. That to me outweighs 7-1-2. So it's tough. I mean, I wanted to give it to Tampa, but that 8-1-1, I'm a stickler for stats. You know me. So that's all there is to say on that. But now that little disagreement's out of the way, MF, we got a number one team with a bullet here. There's no doubt about it who it is.
It is the St. Louis Blues.
Wow.
At the very beginning of the year, they were one of the most embarrassing teams in the NHL. They were bad, horrible. Yeah, oofa, as you would say. And it was big yikes when they started. But ever since the All-Star break, look out below. They are climbing in a fever pitch. They're now in the top 3 in the Central Division. They hold one of the 3 coveted spots, the automatic to get into the playoffs. They're in. So I don't know what to say, man. They have been killing it lately. What had gotten into the Blues? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, what has gotten into them? 9-1 in their last 10, winners of 8 in a row. Hottest team in the league right now. 29, 22-5, 63 points. Tied for 3rd in the Central with Dallas. They're both looking up at Nashville and Winnipeg. But they're 6th in goals scoring. They're 11th in penalty minutes, 16th in goals scored, 18th in power play, 21st in the penalty kill. And you would think after trading all of those star players that they had, like your Pasternaks and your Shattenkirks. Thank you for Shattenkirk, by the way. We gladly took him. So that's all I can say on that. It's been since the All-Star break. Their last loss, I believe, was on January 21st when they had a tough luck road loss at Los Angeles against the Kings, 4-3. Since then, they've beaten the Anaheim Ducks in Anaheim 5-1 on January 23rd, just before the All-Star break. And then after it, road wins at Columbus, at Florida, and at Tampa Bay. And then a home-and-home series win over the Nashville Predators. They won at home against Nashville and then at Nashville. An 8-3 beatdown on the New Jersey Devils on Tuesday. And then on Thursday, a 4-0 shutout in Arizona against the Coyotes. They go to Colorado today, and then they go to Minnesota on Sunday. Hockey, I believe that's Hockey Day in America, I believe.
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah. 3 o'clock on NBC at Minnesota. And then they got Toronto coming in on Tuesday, NBCSN. Then they go to Dallas on Thursday. They got Boston coming in next Saturday. That should be a fun one. Then they're at Minnesota for the second consecutive Sunday. They're at Minnesota on NBCSN in primetime. And then they got the Nashville Predators coming in on the 26th. So that'll get us to the All-Star break. I mean, like MF said, they started out really, really slow. But they have caught such fire. They haven't lost a game in almost a month. We can believe that. So they keep doing this. we might end up having a dark horse in the West. I mean, I know right now, Winnipeg and Nashville, Calgary, San Jose. Heck, you can make an argument for the defending Western Conference champions, the Vegas Golden Knights, even though they've been struggling as of late. But that Western Conference, I'll be honest, that West is so wide open. Anybody can win it in the West. Anybody. St. Louis could be that team. You never know. So in the East, it's a foregone conclusion. It's all about Tampa. But when it comes to the West, pick your poison. Who do you think is the best team in the West? I really don't know. Right now, it's St. Louis, based on the numbers. But we still got a couple more months to go. So they're number one for now, St. Louis Blues. And, of course, the team that hasn't been to the Stanley Cup Finals since 1970. We all remember the infamous Bobby Orr goal, one of the most iconic goals in NHL history, if not the most iconic goal in NHL history. So that's it. So that'll put the bow on this edition of Strictly Sports. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. We're going to do our quick shout-outs here and MF. And then, of course, we got to set the table for the Elimination Chamber. We got to figure out a day. We got to figure out a time for tomorrow. So nothing more to say. So MF, let's get into your quick shout-outs and then the future content coming up.
All right. First off, I want to say thank you to all the great fans out there for making the shows as amazing as they are. You guys are the best fans in the world. To the super fans out there, you guys know who you guys are. To the 2184 crew, you guys know who you guys are. Friends in the junior high and high school days, you guys know who you guys are. Much love, and that's it. So I'd probably say about maybe 10:30 tomorrow night if we can.
Sure.
That's the best time I can do because I got to work till 10. So I'm thinking 10:30 is probably the best way to go with this. So 10:30, and then because I get out because I'm working 11:30 to 6 on that Sunday. Maybe we do play-by-play of the chamber fights. Just the chamber matches there only.
Absolutely. Yes, of course. I mean, that when it comes to the chamber event, it's a 2-match card. Let's be realistic. It's a 2-match card. And it's both of the chamber fights.
Yes.
The other fights are okay. So we'll wait. Although only one of them has any real intrigue, and that's Ronda Rousey and Ruby Riott because of Charlotte Flair and/or Becky Lynch. So we'll see. So,
yeah.
But 10:30 tomorrow night. Yes, we can definitely do that. That's not a problem. That's good for me. So, unfortunately, Michael Bullock will not be with us for that show either because he has another commitment. So, but he will be with us on Sunday for the recap. So, that's all I can say on that. So, future content in just a moment. Of course, special shout outs to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make our show as over as they are. We appreciate it as always. You are the best fans in the world. Of course, well, you're really the best fans in the world if you put up with us on Monday night during our most controversial edition of Ridiculously Raw of all time. 16 views, by the way. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Of course, special shout outs to Dede Woodson, Kevin Woodson, and the Woodson family. Our insiders, Matt Ward, Jason Hicksonbaugh, Daniel Luttrell from the UK. Our other, the other first ladies, Kaiser Butler, Megan Silva, and Lexi Calloway. The crew members, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Allman, operators, and Rob Parsons. Of course, Michael Bullock, who couldn't be with us tonight because of his Special Olympics commitments. And Derek Ferreira, as always. 6, 10, and 12, our personalities, and along with ESPN, FS1, NFL Network, NHL Network, MLB Network, NBA TV. Lindsey McCormick, Status Terrell. Our friends from the Road Show, Will Gilbert, Brendan Kirby, and Michaela Johnson. Former co-host Megan Mooney and Mary Larson. And, of course, my wonderful friends, brethren, and church family at Oasis of Grace Ministries on 464 Silver Spring Street in Providence. If you need a church home, check them out, exit 25 of Route 95. Sunday morning at 9, Bible study. After 10:30, Sunday morning service. Wednesday night at 7, Bible study. Other things going on. It's going to be great. So, looking forward to seeing them on Sunday as always. And tomorrow night, 10:30, Elimination Chamber preview show, and then following, we will have and then Sunday night following the event, the recap, in addition to our chamber match commentary, which will be a lot of fun. And then, of course, Monday Night Ridiculously Raw, all the fallout from the Raw side of the Chamber pay-per-view, and my recaps of 205 Live and Impact Wrestling as always. And then Tuesday, Cerebral Smack Talk with MF over on Brace Fan 95. SmackDown Live's fallout from the Chamber. If MF has anything in the Mikey's mindset, we'll get to that. And then next week, Strictly Sports, next Friday night. NBA Power Rankings, I know that. And then whatever Derek has on the docket for us. So, all right, so that'll do it. So until tomorrow night for the Elimination Chamber preview show, it's Anthony Floyo here. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Lord of Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed weekend. We'll have a blessed Saturday, rather. And then until our chamber preview tomorrow night, you were watching Strictly Sports right here on the Tone 25 and YouTube.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, now, Anthony Floyo, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.